In this video, my friends, we'll be taking a closer look at the ViewSonic X100-4K. This is a whisper quiet Ultra HD home cinema projector that really needs your attention. Let's take a closer look. Don't forget to hit the red button to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up and click the notification bell to get my next video first. So here it is. This is the new 4K LED projector from ViewSonic. Now this thing comes in a pretty big box because it needs to be pretty big because this is a massive projector. But it's not just massive in terms of its size, it is absolutely jam-packed full of specs as well. And I'll go through all of those with you in this video. Now, to give you some actual figures, the size of this is 46.3 centimeters in depth, the width along the front is 41.6 centimeters, and the height is 18.3 centimeters. This thing weighs in at 7.6 kilos, but it will fit a standard universal ceiling mount. On the very front of the projector there is a motorized lens cover, which is a very nice feature, and then you can lift up the flap, and in here you have both horizontal and vertical lens shift, which again is a brilliant feature for this type of projector. There's also the zoom ring as well, so that you can adjust to get the perfect screen size. On the right hand side of the projector is the power adapter input and a Harman Kardon speaker, but I'll touch on those later. On the back you can see these two huge fans, and then on the other side is also another Harman Kardon speaker, another flap that pulls down to reveal the keypad. Here you can control the projector without using the remote, and you also get all of the other inputs. Now, when I say inputs, it really does have pretty much every input you could ever wish for. It has 4 HDMI in, an audio 3.5mm in, USB Type A, which is 5 volts, 2 amps, and also an RJ45 input for the internet, and also a Wi-Fi 5G input. There's also a 3.5mm audio output, a headphone port, and optical audio output. There's a USB Type A supporting USB 3.0, there's two 12-volt trigger ports, and there's an RS232, an RJ45 Ethernet port, and finally a USB micro port for service. And if that's not enough, there are some adjustable legs as well. I tell you what guys, I do feel a little bit guilty with all those connections. I'm literally going to be using one HDMI cable coming out of the back of my amplifier, going all the way up through the ceiling into the projector. This projector comes with one of the best remote controls. In fact, it is the best by far. It's the best remote control I've ever used on any projector ever. Finished, finito, that's it. That's all you need to know. It's a joy to use. It has a dial around the edge which you can use when you're focusing, and it is also backlit, and I love the fact that it's not over fussy. It's just got all of the buttons you need. Okay, so I've now ceiling mounted the projector in the old spot where my other one used to be. I did have to just adjust the actual ceiling mount because this projector is so long, but it was just a standard ceiling mount and it holds it fine. Now I think ceiling mounting is definitely the way forward with this projector. For some reason it just doesn't look anywhere near as big once it's up there on the ceiling. And in fact it looks absolutely gorgeous to look at. Plus you've got accessibility to all of the functions that you need. So definitely I recommend that is the way to go. Right, it's time to drop that big screen now and fire this bad boy up and see exactly what it can deliver. Those of you concerned about the noise of the projector needn't worry. This thing is whisper quiet. The ambient noise level in my room at the moment is around 35 decibels. I'm going to turn the projector on. It will make a little bit of noise as it starts up, and then the jingle, and then it will level out, and it levels out at a ridiculously low 42 to 43 decibels, which is absolutely whisper quiet for a projector. And the actual manufacturer's information says it's around 20 decibels in eco mode and just 23 in normal mode. I'm just going to focus on those fans so that you can see that both of them are spinning round. This is unbelievably quiet. This projector has both vertical and horizontal manual lens shift. This means it's easy to line your picture up perfectly with your screen. It also has electronic vertical keystone correction and electronic motorized focus. Those of you that like to watch things on your projector during daylight will be pleased to know that this has 2900 lumens, and as you can see it's very bright, but it's still delivering a very good bright image on that screen. And if you just take it down a little bit so it's a little bit darker, well then the screen really starts to pop. So it's still quite light outside, but it's probably about half an hour or so away from dusk, and as you can see, the brightness of that screen is just unbelievable. You wouldn't know that it was this time of day. You would think it was a lot darker. Obviously, you get the very best picture when it's completely dark, and again, it's an incredible image. The reason why I'm showing you this video here is I wanted you to hear the sound of this projector. Again, projectors don't tend to normally have great sound. In fact, they are renowned for having terrible sound. And if you go back on pretty much every single projector video that I've done, I've always said, don't bother about the sound, just get a sound bar. This might be the very first projector where I'm not saying that. The sound is incredible. Harman Kardon, we know, is an incredible make, and the sound that comes out of these, well, you listen for yourself. Okay, the first one that we're going to play is the Apple HomePod Mini.
We all feel love, sense burning hot. It's what you do to me, babe, I can guarantee. I got what you need. Under the night sky, I want your eyes all on me. Don't relax now, I always get mine with me.
So basically you've got two 20-watt cubes which deliver incredible sound with amazing bass. Very, very good. Again, I'm still probably on the fence and would probably still say go for a 5.1 surround system if you're spending this type of money on a screen, but this does mean that you can literally take this anywhere and have great sound. Speaking of taking it anywhere, it has got software built into it as well. So this is the screen that you get presented with when you first turn the projector on. As you can see, you've got Aptoid there. This is effectively an app store where you can go in and download loads of apps. Now, I got YouTube working perfectly fine and also Netflix. If I'm honest, I prefer a separate device, something like a Fire Stick, but at least that means with this projector, you can just take the projector on its own, connect it to a Wi-Fi source, and then you're ready to go. The rest of the setting screens are very simple and easy to follow. They're not overwhelming at all, and they're not overcomplicated, which again is nice to see because on some projectors, I find that they can be quite confusing, especially if you're not experienced in using them too often. You can download ViewSonic's Vcast Sender app, which is really good for sharing and mirroring your iOS or phone screen, and here you can share photos and video, and it's very simple and easy to just scroll through whatever you've got on your device. And again, nowadays that's something which most people do all the time with their TVs, so why not have that with your projector as well? So great app, very easy to use and very simple to download and get installed. If using the keypad on the projector or the remote control is too strenuous for you, then you can connect to your smart assistant. This projector will support both the Google Assistant and also Amazon Alexa, so now you can control the thing just by the sound of your voice. Okay, so in our tests, we were really pleased with the type of picture quality that this gave. Now, if I'm being honest, it didn't give this right out of the box. It did take some adjustments, but then you would expect that depending on your environment and depending on obviously your choice. But I found that it gave surprisingly good blacks. As you can see with this shot here, that black level is pretty impressive, and the contrast level, it's around 3 million to 1 contrast. It's an LED lamp, as you know, so 2900 LED lumens, and also color accuracy is really good. It's 125% to the Rec 709 color gamut, and that is pretty impressive. But we were able to tweak it for different HDR settings, and again I would say that it did a pretty good job with most things that we threw at it. Now, one thing that I've not mentioned is the fact that this projector will also handle 3D as well, so therefore you've got an immersive 3D experience if you're into that. I myself personally am not a great fan of 3D, but I know that there are some people that still love that format. But guys, I'll be interested to know what you think of the picture. How's it coming across on the screen? Is it delivering the type of image that you would expect? I'm absolutely blown away with it. I think that it looks brilliant. The colors, I do have to say, You know, without having 100 different projectors by the side, this does seem just so accurate in its color representation. It just seems absolutely brilliant. So I'm really pleased with the picture, and all of these things that we've spoken about in this video. This thing is just packed full of features. It is really very impressive. Now I'm going to go into a few more stats in a second, but I just wanted to take a few moments just to summarize and really let you know why I like this projector so much. It really is one of my most favorite projectors I've looked at in the last couple of years, and that's because it does so many things really well. Whether it be that silent fan where you can hardly hear the operation, even in the quietest of scenes you don't hear this thing running. Whether it be the sound system, which for me is not a big deal, but for someone that wants just to pick the projector up and take it somewhere else, well then that sound is going to be really pleasing to them. As is the ability to connect to Wi-Fi and then stream things directly to the projector, whether that be using the onboard app store or via your phone. But for me, it's a lot down to the picture quality, which really does seem very vibrant. It handles HDR very well indeed, and it's not too complicated. This is the type of projector that most people can easily install in their living rooms, and it does an okay job in lighter conditions. If you're looking for a compact projector, well then maybe this is not for you because it is fairly big. But in my room, which is about 10 to 12 feet away from the screen, it doesn't look too ridiculously big. So guys, that's my thoughts. I think it's great value for money, and it's one that you ought to consider if you're in the market in this type of price range for a 4K projector. Okay, let's now look at some of these specs and just make sure that you're not missing any details. Well, so the native resolution is 3840 by 2160. It has a brightness of 2900 lumens and a contrast ratio of 3 million to 1. It displays obviously the color gamut of 1.07 billion colors, and it's via that light source, which is an LED lamp. It should give you that LED lamp in normal use up to 30,000 hours of usage, which is pretty impressive. Okay, some key features with regard to throw ratio and image size and distance. The throw ratio is 1.2 to 1.44. You have an optical zoom of 1.2 times, and you've got an image size range between 40 inches, may as well just get a cheap TV, or up to 200 inches. That is the optimum range. Normally I would say something around the 120 mark is probably the sweet spot, 120 to 150. Now, throw distance of 1.06 meters to 6.37 meters. You have keystone correction of 40 degrees, lens shift vertical range from 65% down to 0%, and the horizontal range will give you a 25% shift either way. And finally guys, the key takeaway from this page for me is that noise. Just 20 decibels in eco mode, 23 decibels in normal mode. It's whisper quiet. It really is unbelievably quiet. Guys, that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I do hope this has been useful for you. If it has, then just give it a thumbs up, and if you're not already subscribed, then make sure you hit the red button, and obviously check out the links in the description for more information about this product.